to the firing line, so to speak.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And they gave me another 4 weeks to come home, spend some time with my family, and I had the fiance, and we decided not to get married until I came back, assuming and expecting to come back.
Sure. Okay. All right. So you're in essence, you had a team there of senior medics who have been through
enlisted men. Yeah.
Enlisted men.
They had been in Normandy. They were heroes.
Sure. We've interviewed some of the ones from
sure
Normandy.
you have. Yes, she's a hero.
Yeah, she's from Fiji and Peleliu and Guadalcanal.
Anybody who survives is a hero, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Now, how old would you have been at that point in time once you were in Korea?
1932. 26.
Relatively. Being a young person, obviously you indicated you were obviously very intelligent, and you're.
I'm not sure that I was. I wouldn't have volunteered for the draft if I was. I don't think.
Yeah, but I think you sort of recognize your limitations when you explain it to the colonel. Being a young person, and
I was a dentist.
Okay.
I was not a physician trained. I mean, obviously, it was a wonderful university and a wonderful training, and I spent time in the operating room, and I took physiology and anatomy and all of the courses, and I was smart enough to know that I didn't really know very much. But in my field, as a dentist, I felt I was very competent to begin, but not to do what I had to do.
Sure. So, what was the hardest part of being a dentist in Korea at that point in time?
None of it was hard.
Okay.
It was just a learning experience.
Okay. All right. Was there any part of getting adjusted to military life once you were?
Fit right in.
Okay.
Fit right in. I was an engineer before I was a dentist. I went to General Motors Institute.
Okay.
And I was sponsored by Detroit Transmission Division, and they made hydromatic transmissions, which they put on the Oldsmobile, which you probably won't remember, but you will. And it was on Ryapel, and we'd work a month and go to school a month.
Okay.
And so probably one of the most valuable things that I did as a dentist was to be an engineer first.
Okay.
Because much of what we do in dentistry is engineering, and especially restorative dentistry.
Okay.
And so I also am a lawyer. I'm admitted to practice law in the state of Michigan, the federal courts of appeal of the United States Supreme Court. I also have a master's in business administration, and I have lectured at Boston University on legal considerations, at Indiana Anatomy, at University of Detroit School of Dentistry, Ohio State University, the Washington University, and many other institutions. I've written a book on legal considerations in dentistry, published some papers that have been in major journals. And I've had a very wide, diversified career. I have always had an in-house laboratory, so that because of the engineering, we did all of the creative prosthodontics in my office when I came back from the Air Force. And when I came back, I was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which was a large facility in Ohio, and a large base there with many of the various disciplines, and I served there until 1960. Served in the reserves for 5 years. And then at the time when you had to make a commitment to the active reserves and inactive, and I elected inactivity. And it could just as easily have gone. I could have made a career in the Air Force. I enjoyed the time in the military. It was structured, and you know where you're going to be usually. and what your duties are, and it's quite specific.
Sure.
And I had thought about it and decided that I would rather be in private practice.
Sure, sure. Okay. Just going back to career just a little bit. Looking at basically your time there, was the most difficult part of it having to deal with those elements outside of your chosen career, which was dentistry? Was it the dealing with the burns and the other? Did you have any combat injuries or?
Yes, the mortuary was behind the dental clinic, and we had aircraft accidents, but there wasn't any difficulty. It was just an experience.
Okay.
That, learning, and
Okay.
each day. I remember when I got there,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would never come back and that I would die there. And
Could you explain why you thought that?
it was you've never been to Korea, then you don't know. But at that time, it was not the Korea that's competing with our automobile industry today. It was Neverland. And I just felt that I was there and that was the end of my life, and so that I had to make the most of it, and which I tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being out in the middle of the night, looking out at the sky, and my fiancée, Evelyn Bradley, was a lovely lady. And I thought about her, and I thought she'd be looking at the same moon. And I thought about the song that was popular then. I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. And then I made a commitment to be there and to do my job. And that's the last I thought about it.
Oh, okay.
There were many, many, many experiences which would be too difficult to talk about. Nope, won't be needing that. Thank you.
Right.
But and then each day I counted the days, and I did make some telephone calls later. But after that, which was about a week or two after I got there, and the disruption and the change from being in Ann Arbor and in college and being with the family, and then being a different person. And you remember that when you were in Fiji, there was a time of acceptance, and you either embrace the situation or you fight it. And if you embrace it, I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
If you fight it, you wind up fighting it every day.
Sure.
And I think it was good training for me. I'm happy that I was in that. I'm happy for the experience. Had a lot of work to do, very little dentistry. It was all other things.
Okay.
And so my job was whatever had to be done. There was no job description that came with it. It was an interesting experience. I have recommended to many, many young students as I teach, join the military. It's a good place to be.
Sure, sure. And I guess you'll wake up each day not knowing what you would face that day from a medical standpoint, I guess.
We had a dental clinic, and we had appointments for individuals that had, and I did the dental things that were necessary, but I also did whatever else was necessary.
Right, right.
And
Okay.
I remember we had some meetings where some of the troops were not taking care of their mouth, and they weren't taking care of their teeth. And, I remember we scheduled a couple of sessions for the enlisted personnel, and instructed them that if they didn't brush their teeth and they came in with things that were allowed to be created, that they would be checked out by their corporals and their sergeants, and nobody wanted to be embarrassed to that point. And so it was necessary to teach people the things of personal hygiene, but that was not one of the major things.